Good day, it's Candace. Candace May Training and Services. Today I want to share with you a failure of mine. But here's the key. I don't like to think of anything as a failure. I like to fail and learn something. If I'm going to fail, it's going to be an opportunity for me to learn. And if I learn something, did I fail? No. If I learn something, then it's okay. I can embrace that as a great opportunity to become a better me. So I'm going to share with you a story of me in my life and some things that for a long time I thought they were failures. But as I've gone through and done my work and digging through my life to find the gems and what I learned and what the success stories are of my life, I've learned some things. I'd like to share those with you. So in my 30s, I was a mother of 3, and the father of my youngest 2 children was what we call passive aggressive. And sometimes he didn't want to get on board and do what we agreed would be his role versus my roles. And for an example, like he was supposed to cut the grass, okay? And he wasn't cutting the grass. And I said, hey, honey, what about the grass? Can you cut the grass? And he said, well, it's going to have to wait 2 more weeks now that you asked. And literally, he would not do it. So I ended up doing it. In that time in my life, I was more confrontational. Like, I wouldn't hesitate to push back and say, hey, now pushing back isn't a bad thing. But it's the way that you do it that matters, right? And when I was in my, 20s and 30s, I was brass. It didn't matter. I was just right in your face. Now I try to use a bit more tact, right? But at that time, it was a failure, right, for me. We weren't connecting. He would stonewall, meaning he wouldn't respond. You could talk to him. I need time to think about it. And his time to think about it, when I'm thinking is, a couple minutes, he's taken a week or 2 to think about things and wouldn't always tell me, I need 2 weeks to think about this. So you could see where we would rather clash, right? So one thing I learned there was, I didn't learn it right away. It took time. It took many years and thinking back and looking over it. But the next relationship I was in, this person was much more dogmatic and very his way or the highway. But I didn't really see it that way. See, because I like to push back. And so when before we were married, we would have a conversation. And if I didn't like his positioning, I would push. Think of it this way. Let's think about that. And we'd push and push and push. And he'd say, you just keep pushing the envelope, Candace. And I said, yeah, well, there's a good reason. And so then he would go away. And like the next day, he'd come back and say, I thought about what you said, and I've changed my position. So there was some value there in pushing back. But you know what happened when we got married? When I wanted to push back on something, he said, if you're going to push back, I'm just going to shut down, and that's not going to work. And so what happened? I decided to completely withdraw myself from any conflict with this person at all, because I wasn't going to go through what I went through in the first marriage. No, there was no way that I was going to go through that drama. And I would consider that a failure too, because I wasn't being true to myself. If I'm not standing my ground and pushing back a little bit, come on, that's who I am. We're spiritual beings, and we were created with a design. We were given energy in our personality and certain patterns of behavior that are unique to each of us. And there's a certain pattern that I have. And it's a beautiful pattern if I learn how to use it properly. You see, you have a pattern too. We all have various patterns. We're all unique. But we all have patterns of personality and communication styles. And when we can learn those communication styles and what they look like, what the base personality is and behaviors that are not so pretty, and what the higher qualities of that personality and the virtues are, and we can learn to reprogram our behaviors and make habits into these virtues and stay away from those base behaviors, we become beautiful people. You can become a beautiful person. You probably already are, but we can all learn to be better. And I learned to be better by learning my communication style, my behavior styles, by learning how I act a little differently when I'm under stress and how I act when I'm exhausted or when I'm in a very secure place. I may act a little differently. How I behave when I'm alone versus how I behave in public. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful process. Would you like to learn about yourself? Would you like to know all the ins and outs of your personality and your behaviors and how you can better interface with other personality styles so that you can blossom with them? See, it's okay to disagree with someone, but you don't have to do it in a negative way, in a harsh way. You don't have to communicate in only the way that you naturally communicate. You have the ability to shift and maneuver and blend your personality into other styles that blend with the other people that you're communicating with, so that you can connect with that other person at a deeper level and really get a win-win for you and for them. What a beautiful world it would be if we all learned how to blossom in our personality with our employees, with our colleagues, with our spouse, with our children, with our neighbors. I can help you if you're interested. Leave me a personal message here, or leave me a message and we'll connect and we can get together and figure out the best way to work together and help you grow and help your team at work grow. Have a beautiful day.